Welcome everyone to the Surf Zone. Got our first performer tonight. I want to introduce everyone to T Route.
Thank you, sir. Let me start by just thanking everybody. This is it's so weird, and this is like really good for me just to get up here and try to be funny, try to see where it's at. About a beer and a half deep right now, so I'm fucking wasted. And this should only be about probably 6 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, so just like my sex life, so we're looking good. Short and sweet. And when I was starting this, I didn't realize how many fucking distractions are in my house. Whether it's just like lights flickering on and off, because of course it is Eugene and housing sucks. Or you have Piper, my dog, right in front of me, just whining and looking up right there at my feet with her cute little eyes, just looking at me and trying to get my attention. And I'm looking right back at her, and I'm just like, God damn it, you have a better fucking mustache than I do. Shit. And I can't shave it. Like, I can't lose a bet because $5 are on the fucking line. I need it. Okay? I need it. Please donate. Please. So, I looked up how to start a good stand-up. I really wanted to crush it. And first thing it said was like,
you should go and do, a punchline, and you should start with some good outlines of other jokes you would want to do, and maybe do some knock-knock jokes as well.
and I was like, who the fuck is gonna do knock-knock jokes? What kind of psychopath is gonna fucking stand in his living room and fucking look at a camera and say knock-knock jokes? Like, the only person that really reminds me of is like that one fucking uncle you have that's like that jerk that you always grew up with that would like get your neck and like shove it down and like come up behind you and be like, hey Eli, like knock knock, and you're like, who's there, Uncle Lou? And he's like, your mom and dad are gonna get divorced. Alright, first of all, your timing's a little off, dick. And second of all, hey Uncle Lou, knock knock. Who's there? Nobody, motherfucker, because the IRS took your house. I didn't say that. I was 7. I cried. Like, it's fine. Because sure enough, 2 years later, my parents did get divorced. Shout out. Now, that joke is called childhood trauma. I said childhood trauma. It gets funnier as you get older. So, the other thing that it says to do in the WikiHow, and by the way, never ever go to WikiHow to do anything. I now have a rash on my back because I combined bleach and Neosporin together. Don't do that. Don't fucking do that. So, another thing it tells you to do is talk about the place you're from. Say where you're from. I was like, okay, I'm from Denver, Colorado. But I moved to Eugene, Oregon to pursue a bachelor, or a degree, right? And when I went out there, I realized real quick, nobody calls it Eugene. Everybody calls it the dirty fucking huge. And I'm going to tell you why. Because at one end, you got your typical batshit crazy homeless man, which is fine. I get it. There's homeless people everywhere in any city. That's totally fine. But on the other end, you got your typical privileged white pretty boy. That's probably from California, knowing Oregon. It's fine. But the thing is that this breed of homeless people is something that's fucking incredible. And I really mean that because 4 of them live under me and I'm in an apartment. And that's fine. So, the best way I could describe the homeless population in Eugene is that I go outside with Piper to let her go potty late at night, every night, because that fucker has to pee all the time. It sucks. Please help me. But the thing is that when I let her out, I never, ever, ever keep a leash on her. I just don't, because she's obedient and she's loyal and she's just really good at what she does and just really is just a perfect example of a great dog. But when I go outside, there's somebody knocking at the door. So when I go outside, there's homeless people everywhere, right? There's homeless people walking up and down the streets, living practically in my dumpster, and that's cool. But whenever you go outside, whenever they see you, they just immediately look at you and just start running up. And you got a dog, so everybody wants to see the dog, and they run up and they're just like, hey, nice cat. I mean dog, fuck! And you don't want to get stabbed, you know? So you're just like, hey man, like, you're right the first time, it's cat, don't worry about it. But also, is there any way you could maybe put down the crack pipe when we're talking? It's a little distracting. So that's pretty much what they're like. Like, on one end, you got the crazy homeless guy who will literally beat the shit out of you because you won't give him the keypad code to get into the dumpster room to get cans. And then at the other end, you have literally frat boys who think $80 for a gram of weed is a good idea. And then right in the middle, you got me. The guy who walks his 80-pound tabby at night and has a fucking Hitler mustache. So I hope that's a good example of the dirty huge for you. Now, the thing about it is being that close to people, and I don't mean this in a mean way, I realized really quick that I don't wash my hands nearly as much. It's pretty gross. But then two is I really need to get a fucking flu shot. And I mean that. Because I don't want to have COVID and flu at the same time. So I decided to get a flu shot last week. And I go in, you know, I'm waiting there. And he's like, hey, what are you here for? I'm like, I'm here to get my flu shot. And he's like, are you allergic to this? Do you have trouble sleeping at night? And I'm like, dude, let's hurry this up. I'm trying to get my 6 crackers and get the fuck out of here. Let's go. So he sits me down. You know, I pull up my shirt. He's like, okay, this is gonna hurt. I'm like, yeah, a lot of things hurt in my life. Let's go. So he puts it in, get the shot, and I go out. And sure enough, that night, I didn't realize it, but I had some pretty wicked fucking vivid dreams. And I don't know whether it was like the chemicals reacting with my brain, with the flu shot or something, but it was so fucking vivid. I was like riding through the clouds, and I was like having ice cream shops like float, and I had trees talking to me, and I had clouds smiling back, and I was like, this is fucking rad. Like, I'm down. I'm gonna get 4 flu shots tomorrow, and I'm gonna fucking peak hard. Well, I look back, and sure enough, who do I fucking see? And I see Piper. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna say a joke. I'm gonna do something funny. And sure enough, I look at her. I'm like, hey, Piper, knock knock. She's like, who's there? And I'm like, you're adopted. And she was like, hey, Dad, knock knock. I'm like, yeah, what's up? Who's there? She goes, nice mustache, dickhead. And that's the end of that. And I just want to thank everybody. Thanks for the crowd coming. I heard you guys downstairs knocking on the door. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll make sure to record this and set it up